What's up, people? Live from the Evo. We realized we don't have any chairs here, and all my buckets are in use. So we squeezed Chris into this sardine. I thought this car was pretty big, but apparently not.
Not so much on this side.
It seems that it's the same.
I don't know.
So anyway, we're here live. A little better acoustics here in the Evo.
Definitely.
And we're gonna have us a good old time here today in the garage. I'm looking at the regular E30 M3. I just finished coating, first layer of coating. I did CSL. I'll do XO tomorrow. I tried out Diamond Protex glass coating. So that's I did the windshield. I'm gonna do all the rest of the windows, and then I've got to do the wheels and the interior. But it's been a fun process. It looks incredible.
It does look really, really nice.
Yeah.
What are you going to do differently on this one? Just the glass coating?
I might wax that one. We'll see. Because this one looks so darn good.
That does look nice.
But, you know, this one is more of a collector. So it's going to see a lot less elements. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when I get into it. I may even just send it back and say, look, I'm done. I quit. We'll see. I was only good for polishing one. I don't have to do anything, but the main purpose was to drive and compare.
Did you drive that one yet?
Not yet, nope. I need to drive this one after, cars always drive better after you wash them.
After they're clean?
Yeah, after they're clean, so I need to drive it a little bit more.
That's what's wrong with mine. I need to wash.
That's a good idea, yeah.
All right, let's get to some questions here from folks. We got Harley17.
Okay.
Says, good afternoon, gentlemen. Will you offer a liquid element polisher in 3-inch?
They have a 3-inch. It will be offered. I doubt it'll be through Obsessed Garage. It'll probably be on Liquid Elements website direct, which will be the fulfillment likely for it. So, yes. The 3-inch is, I don't think they have a corded. I think they only have the cordless. I got one over there. I just didn't like the 3-inch. I don't love the 1-inch. I love the 5-inch. The 5-inch is really great. It's gonna be like $209 or something crazy like that. It's gonna be nuts.
All right, we got another polisher question from Alex. Hey Matt, loving the content as always. Question, how is the Liquid Elements polisher any different than every other Chinese Rupes clone? Not to be critical, but as you always say, honor the source. Yeah,
that's my exact comment. So here's what happened. Demo, who is a German, here lives in Miami and has a detailing business, and he got one, I guess, in Germany, and then he reached out to the company, and I think Liquid Elements is doing really well in Germany. And so what I wanted them to do, I said, well, look, how is this, I said that exact question, how is this not just some Chinese knockoff bullcrap? So Demo gave me the sales pitch, and I didn't believe him. And so I said, look, I need to talk to the guy. I need to talk to the owner. And so Sebastian and I got on a call, and I said, here's what I need you to do. And I was kind of a jerk about this. I said, look, I need you to do a vlog. No cleanup, no prep. I need it like today. And so just take your iPhone and vlog the day, vlog your headquarters, and vlog how am I supposed to believe that you guys aren't just knocking off a product. And so first I used the product. I'm like, well, this is quite a bit different. It has a torque sensor on it, stuff. It has this kind of hexagonal looking thing, which is more ergonomic for your hand. And it just felt different. It operates differently. It has some things that are a little cheaper, like the speed switch is a little bit cheaper feeling, and I'm sure they'll make some improvements in the future. But the dude had at least 1 to 10 3D printers in every single room. There's freaking crap everywhere. Just total mad scientist, and I was I'm not looking at his cleanliness. I'm looking at, is this are these guys legit, figuring out how to make stuff.
Right.
And so they were going to make it in Germany, but it would have cost, the same as all the other polishers. And so they went to his relationships in China. And so they're contract manufacturing with their partner. And so, same thing with griots. I feel like griots didn't just rip off Rupes. They went and did some work. They went to the drawing board and built their own version. I mean, a polisher is a polish. It all is derived from Porter cable, right? From the original Porter cable machines. So, and then before that, from like the typical rotary type type polisher. So Rupes came in and improved the product, and so we have to like decide where's the ripoff coming from now. The Max Shines and the Shine Mates and all those others, they're not even trying. They're just taking a Rupes, taking it apart, making a junk version. So if I'm going to do something that is similar, I want it to be bespoke. I want it to be built from the ground up. And so I had them show me this being built from the ground up. Don't show me a disassembled Rupes where you're copying, and where your English to Chinese to English translation is off. Where the power scale is wrong. Show me some improvement. And I like the Griot's machine a lot. The G13, G15. I feel like Griot's was the first one to come in, and they took their original Gen 1 polisher, incorporated the long throw idea or concept that Rupes pioneered, and then had their own take on it. Like access to the brushes, so you could swap the brushes out. They don't have their backing plate and gear set is very different. Where Rupes has this sort of venturi where the backing plate has to be touching the shroud and oiled. And so I've always thought, and most of us have always thought, that was kind of an inferior thing. So Kevin Brown always put a spacer on there, which Rupes doesn't condone because it messes with its cooling ability. And so there is a very clear difference in cooling on that LE, on how it works. And so I decided, look, I think that this is bespoke enough. And I guess you could call me a hypocrite, but they made this thing from scratch. And so that's the reason. So there was a lot of behind the scenes, a lot of conversations had, a lot of demands from me. If I'm going to put my name on this darn thing, it's got to be legit. And I'm telling you, I did lots of due diligence. It's as much due diligence as I could, short of me getting on a plane and going to Germany. These guys are pretty legit.
All right, Addison says, hey, Matt, I drive a 2022 F350. Has 45,000 miles. How would you go about prepping the plastics for coating? First question. I would clean them with a brush. Like I would even just use like the Color Lock brush. And you know what actually would clean it really well would be Color Lock Strong Cleaner, which is designed for leather. If you could get your hand on a bottle of Meguiar's M39, that would help. So in a perfect world, I would use M39, or Nexzet has a product, I think it's called Gummy Fledge or something like that. They have a plastics cleaner, which, if it's real dirty and banged up, beat up, I would, clean it with something like that. M39 from Meguiar's, which I don't make anymore. What's it called? Gummy. This thing?
Yeah, there's two of them, but whatever their plastic cleaner is called. Yeah, Next Gen's deep plastic cleaner or something like Nexzet's deep plastic cleaner. And
There's
then
what you're talking about. Gummy Fledge.
Yeah, that's not what we wanted. Just a plastic cleaner. That's what you need. There's also something called Vinyl Rubber Extra. So that could be a product you could use to clean it up, and then just spray it with some Carpro Eraser. And then if it's really dry and milky looking, use Solution Finish. Let it sit for a day or so, and then come back and coat it with CSL XO. And G-Technic.
And then, got any advice on how to remove scratches from your car touchscreen?
Yeah, buy a new one.
Don't scratch it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the fix could be worse than the problem. You'd have to be really cognizant of heat, and if you built up heat, you'd have to be worried about that. I would say I would probably not mess with it.
All right, Joseph says, hey, from Wisconsin. Have you had experience with Griot's fast correcting cream leaving oils that are hard to remove with prep spray and make the coating not bond? It's happened to me a couple of times. I would wash after polishing, but then how do you dry the unprotected paint? Sounds like a pain.
Yeah, I mean, you can wash. I mean, any Carpro Eraser or, any of the, Geon Prep, any of the alcohol-based isopropyl alcohol diluted, say 50/50, should take it right off. I've never had a problem. I mean, Billy at Presidential uses it every single day, and he just uses G-Technic panel wipe, and then goes right to just the CSU, Crystal Serum Ultra. So, yeah, I mean, it should come off pretty easily without having to wash. I think he generally washes, though.
All right, Ara says, hey, Matt, what are your thoughts on the new Sony Bravia 9?
I haven't really spent any time on it. There is the Quantum Dot OLED, which is the A95K, I believe, which I think is the current best TV. But I know the new Bravia stuff they were launching. I'm not sure what the 9 is. I didn't watch the video or the launch, so I'll have to check it out later.
All right, let's see. Rick Potter says, good afternoon from New Jersey. Matt and Chris, I've been unsuccessful in getting a legit wheel alignment on my F80. Is there anything I need to look for when selecting a shop? Thanks.
Well, first step is make sure they have a Hunter machine that doesn't clamp the wheels. Clamps the tires, not the wheels. So that's step one. And step two is, trying to find somebody who actually, knows how to align. Find somebody who does setups. What you could do is try to find like your local autocross group and find. I guarantee there's a guy. The guy who runs the autocross group probably has a contact or a connection. That's how I always found them. That's how I found Bill back in the day. You have to find a shop that really knows what they're doing.
Steven says, hey guys, Matt, when you say the stainless tip nozzles for Pressall are going to be pricey,
Yep.
what do you have in mind? I think you've said $3.50. I'm assuming you meant $3.50.
Yeah, like $3 or $4, something like that. I think. They're gonna be. I mean, that's a lot for a tip. So that's 3 or 4 plus the bottle and sprayer. So it's probably going to push our bottle to like $18 or $20. But I think it's going to be worth it.
All right, let's see. Slitzer says, Lake Country pad washer or blow out with air compressor? Pad washer seems to make more sense.
I hate the pad washer. I know all you people love that thing. It's freaking gross. I needed one for this car here, but instead I just swap pads more often. I know lots of people like washing pads, but I don't like doing that.
Our buddy Dan Pfeiffer in Minnesota says, well, this looks cozy. Yeah, that's a good word for it, Dan.
I feel good.
Yeah.
It feels comfy. Just need a little more recline. How the heck why is this thing?
Brett Rohn, he claims to be working. He's going to have to catch the replay later. Yeah, right, Brett. Bert. Sorry, Bert.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Chris M. says, Matt, are you for or against clear buckets? I just picked up some clear buckets. Going to give them a try.
What's the point? What is it supposed to accomplish? All the people in the stupid bucket thing of dirt in the buckets. Of course there's dirt in the buckets. That's what you're doing. You're getting dirt off the car. Well, I want to see how much dirt. Well, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to dump the bucket out and refill it after every dunk in the bucket? The whole point of the soap is to add lubrication to, sort of help with the, help with the dirt. So I don't see the point. I don't know whoever came up with that. It makes 0 sense to me.
Let's see. Joseph says, as the business grows, how do you tell how much revenue new positions bring in? Does it matter less if new hires bring in more than their pay as the business grows? Where do you draw the line?
Yeah. It gets more complicated and a little more difficult to assess. In the beginning, it's pretty easy when you're first 10 employees or so and they have a very specific task. You could then, allocate a certain amount of revenue to them. From there, I'm looking at a very loose number of, say 10%. So 10% of my revenue I'm allocating toward payroll. When it gets higher than that, we either need to cut or we need to grow into it. And so that's the very loose. As you get to 20, 30, 40, 100 people, it becomes a little bit more difficult to, especially if their position isn't directly attributable to revenue. Somebody packing a box, somebody that is, doing something, some specific task that's necessary. Shoot, if you hired a custodial staff or something, how do you allocate the, revenue to that? So it becomes a bit more complicated and looks more like, 10 times, what you're paying should be your loose revenue number.
Michael wants to know, do you have any suggestions on exterior speakers for an outdoor patio/pool area?
Yeah, I'm a real big fan of the Sonance line, so what's the brand? I forget what the model is called. They only have one, but there's like a high end and a medium end, and it's the difference in tweeter. But yeah, I like the Dyne Audio ones the most, but they stopped making them. So Sonance, outdoor speakers is the way to go. Not Sonos, Sonance.
Yeah, although if you type in, I spelled Sonance wrong. There we go. Still brings up Sonos.
Of course, yeah. Nothing Sonos ever.
All right, let's see. Jeffrey wants to know, can you mix the stainless and brass garden hose quick disconnects?
Yeah, you can. They're the same profile. I mean, I guess technically you're not supposed to mix metals, but yeah, they'll work. It works fine.
Also, is hides going to stay in the store when Bill Tambers arrives? Atomac.
I don't think so. Probably not.
Hey guys, this is from Brian. When using the M18 inflator, will two 3.0 high outputs be ample for a hot hatch or golf?
So he's using the inflator. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's plenty.
Yeah, I mean, you can use one tiny little battery. I mean, you don't need a lot.
Yeah, we did love his truck, all 4 tires, I think, with.
Yeah, you'll barely even use 1 bar of battery. Yeah, you'll be fine with any battery.
That's plenty, Brian.
Yep.
Spencer, our buddy up in the Dakotas, said, the highlight of my week. Well, more like my life. Matt saying that we're friends. Crazy how I learned to polish watching him, and now I'm giving him advice on single stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what was his secret? I wasn't paying too much attention.
Wool, skip the microfiber, go to wool, and use the Last Cut Plus. It worked great. And then I ended up using Sonac's Perfect Finish to finish out the car, and it worked great.
John Carnegie says, I haven't been able to catch a live in a while. Is this a new format?
We're in the limbo phase of our new building being set up, and we don't have any chairs.
No.
So we just needed somewhere to sit.
Kevin says, I just received your vacuum solution with the Cox reel shelf and Cox washer.
Nice.
I have an active 2.3 on pre-order. My question is...
Cancel it.
I only have an 8-foot tall by 36 wide to install. Any recommendations? Squeeze it all there.
8 foot wide.
8 foot tall by 36 wide. I guess 36 inches.
Let's see, 8 feet.
By 3 feet?
Yeah, I mean, you could probably just do it all vertical. I saw someone in the Facebook group who had mounted the vacuum up high, and I would lay it out on the floor and try to, kind of finagle and squeeze. I mean, the pressure washing system only needs like 18 inches, maybe 20 inches wide of a footprint. So you could probably figure out how to make it all fit. I'm not in love with the Active 2.3. I just tested it. It'll be up, probably next week, the video. The main advantage to it is that you get really awesome flow on a 15 amp circuit. The disadvantage to it is that it's the loudest pressure washer by 10 dB. It's 8 dB. Like, it is really, really loud. It's not particularly serviceable. I mean, the performance is decent. The other thing that's nice, the frequency of loud is not like super annoying. Like, it's not shrill. It doesn't have some weird Chinese squeak. The pressure switch is much better than the one on the Active 2.0. If you have access to 20 amps, then no question, spend the extra $100, get the AR 630. So it's much better. Much quieter, much more durable, arguably more durable machine than the Kranzle. I don't think I'm going to carry it because of how loud it is. I think I would rather have a Comet for $50 less, or same price, or or have a certainly rather have the AR. So if I can only do 15 amps, I'm buying a Comet, in that price point. Because it's fully serviceable, a little better quality machine, a lot quieter, comes with some other benefits of hose reel and all that kind of stuff. If you have the, if you have the 20 amp capability, then you'd want the AR630 for $750.
All right, Larry wants to know, can you explain the pH difference between OG decon soap or any decon soap compared to Built-Hamber and other pre-washes?
So OG decon soap is a pH of like 8.5 or something like that. So it's not super high alkalinity. I think it's the surfactant in it, and it's probably time for a bit of a revamp. I'm testing out some other pre-washes. It was great on wax. Like, it stripped the wax off of the, the M3 here, or whatever wax was on it, or spray sealant that was on it. But it's not really going to strip or do a whole heck of a lot of extra on a coating. Now, my argument is none of the decon soaps are really going to put a dent in a coating. So a pre-wash, so the OG decon soap is designed to pull waxes and sealants off. That's what it's made for. It's actually a tunnel car wash. So that the story behind that, the backstory is, it was called Chemical Guys Citrus Red, and I was buying it from Chemical Guys back in the day, and then Chemical Guys, said, well, we're going to stop making it. You have to buy it in totes. So I was buying it in 55-gallon drums, and we're figuring out how to put it in a bottle. Those of you who've been around a long time may even have a numbered bottle where I made an inkjet label and sent it out. We sold it in like 22 seconds or something, sold out of the whole stock, because they were taking forever to make it. Then they just called me one day and said, we're not going to make this anymore. You're out of luck. And so my friend Jimbo Balaam, the Auto Detailing Podcast, was working with Projet, who was one of the original blenders. And so they had the original formulation. And the original bottle came, and it's like, I don't know, it's called like Supreme Plus Must Tunnel Car Wash or something like that. And it's not citrus, it's not acidic, it's slightly alkaline. So I said, well, we're not going to call it citrus wash. That's stupid. There's nothing citrus about this. In fact, it's slightly alkaline. And so we brought the soap back. It foams really well. It's extremely slick. It works really well in the bucket. Doesn't destroy your hands, but it will beat up your hands a little bit, but doesn't destroy it. And will strip waxes, sealants, surface level stuff, which is what I want to get off the car, prior to polishing. Even if I'm going to do coating removal, I want to get whatever gunk I can get off the surface and do it with as little damage as possible. And so I've continued to use decon soap personally, and so I continue to sell it. So a pre-wash soap is designed to attack dirt, but not the protection. So that's where Built-Hamber comes in, and Pete, as I would guarantee, has done more research on it than any other brand, any other company. It's his sort of signature product. And so the Built-Hamber product, part of the reason why I never liked the snow foam pre-wash stuff or the European style doing things is I don't want to strip my frickin' wax off. And so, Geon Snow or Geon Foam or whatever it was called, there's 100 different, brands. Autoglim had something I tried back in the day, but it would strip my wax right off, or at least make my wax stop, clog up the hydrophobics of it. So it would pull it would attack the dirt, but it would also attack my protection. So, and coatings in their original onset weren't as durable as they are today. And so we have an improvement of coatings. We have an improvement of pre-washes. And so one thing Pete said to me, which stuck with me, Pete Hamber, who owns Built-Hamber, said, not all pH is created equally, meaning not all pH is arrived at the same way. You can increase pH with something like caustic soda. Caustic soda would strip metals. Could be really problematic. So not all water, not all pH is created the same. And so it's what detergents, surfactants, what materials they're using to increase the alkalinity, which is you're using to strip or create a stripping type wash. Now, CarPro does the opposite, where they lower the pH, so they go acidic. They're slightly acidic. And so I'm sort of testing out the CarPro stuff. What is it? D-scale. Reset is slightly acidic. I think it's a pH of 6.5 or something like that, so slightly off of pH neutral. And so, and then, Bradley has one. His decon soap is I believe, heavy alkaline. And so that's the difference here we're talking about, is that, a decon soap I want to decon. I want it to strip. A pre-wash, I don't want it to strip. And so that's what I'm looking for.
Sonny wants to know, in the most recent E30 video, what's the difference between using the scan grip with and without the plastic cap, lens cap?
It just takes some of the harshness off. So it takes some of the reflection, or some of the, that kind of really, flame throwing looking direct light, and diffuses it. I mean, it's what's called a diffuser. So it's diffusing the light, or toning it down a bit, and it makes it, on certain paints, makes it a little easier to palette, or makes it a little bit more palatable to look at. It's a nice thing to have.
Mikey wants to know, any update with the Touchless? Should be here Tuesday. That's what we're told.
Really?
Yeah, the air freight. Yeah, air freight should be here Tuesday.
Here's how it's going to work. We're going to open up to Inside the Hex members. So if you're not a member, or I want to go become a member, if you want a chance to get it, to start. So we air freight it in, which basically means they're going to make $0 on it, right? So we air freighted in our first 144 Touchless and Animac, or just Touchless?
Touchless and Animac.
We couldn't air freight in Traceless, because Traceless has a chemical, or it has alcohol in it. You can't.
Too much alcohol content.
Yeah. So we're going to number them. So Pete signed them all. I'm going to number them and sign them. We're calling it it's the sort of signature edition, the signature signing of our hopefully long and fruitful partnership together. In that, we're the exclusive North American distributor. And so we're going to sign them, and then, if you want one of those, you can buy them. And so do we have gallons as well?
Not on the air freight, no.
So we have the liters and the 200 or 500 milliliters of Atomac. So those two things we'll do. So we're going to launch those probably Monday the following week. So not next week, the following week, right? And then Friday is when we're going to launch the open pre-order to everybody. And that container is on the way. So that'll be on the water. It takes 4 to 6 weeks to get here. And that won't be signature. That'll be all regular price. But those people who want to get it first. And this is the new touch, the new formulation of it.
Yeah, keep in mind there's only 144 of each of those, so
they're going to sell in minutes.
Yeah, they'll be gone quickly, so be ready for that. We'll make announcements about that when the time.
But you have to be an Inside the Hex member to get it.
Correct. They get first access.
If for some reason the Inside the Hex members don't buy it, then we'll open it up.
All right, let's see. If you, Matt, were the E30 owner, would you still two-step polish every 18 months? I two-stepped every 18 months on a 2013 M3. What should I worry about paint thickness, or get a paint depth meter?
Well, I mean, you probably won't need to two-step polish unless you're removing the coating. And so what I would be looking for, once every, couple of years, or once every 18 months or so, I don't want to be hammering down on the paint. I shouldn't have to. It should be more of just a finished jeweling polish. I need to remove the coating, which means I would probably need to two-step it. And then just, I'd make as few passes as necessary to get the coating off. You can usually see it. The paint will look different, the coated versus uncoated. And then I would go to finishing. So, and you're doing so, I mean, a paint depth gauge isn't going to tell you a whole heck of a lot other than where you're at right now. You would have needed to, I guess, get an initial paint depth. But even that, I mean, what is it telling you? It's telling you, really, for me, a paint depth gauge tells me where a panel has been either painted or not. Or if for some reason it was repainted, I have extra paint that I could work with. But even the fancy one that I have, the Positector with the 200 B1 probe on it, which is like $3,500 or something like that, $3,000 for that setup. It's giving you the 3 layers, but I mean, even that. I mean, how accurate? It's what's plus or minus 5% or something like that. But it, you can still blow through it, and it's just not as helpful of a tool as people make it out to be. Maybe I'm just an idiot.
Deepak wants to know. He says, "Good afternoon, gentlemen. Do we have any rough ETAs on the new tool grid stuff and/or press-all tips?"
Did my gray arrive? I think so.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
It's in production, so we're months, maybe weeks away.
Yeah, press-all tips are a little longer away, as far as I know. So yeah, Deepak, nothing in stone.
Yeah, they have a call. I thought it was today with Pressall.
I believe so.
Donnie
They put off
and team.
that call a couple times.
Yeah.
They're on holiday, I think.
Yeah.
It's Arbor Day. Earth Day is Monday. Ryan says, "Hey Matt, have you tried the Kamikaze d'Elegance wash pad? Esoteric sells it. The deli pad is excellent, but this looks like a luxury pad. Would love to see you wash and talk and get your opinion." So it's that one, I guess. Yeah.
Which one does it look like?
That's small. Looks like that. Oh, that's a
No.
mini. Sorry. I'm sure there's
Yeah, no, I
a
haven't.
bigger one.
I never liked the, on my S2000, I used the little, sponge. But it was just a terrible experience because it was so soft. It was just
That
floppy.
thing?
No, I don't think they make it anymore. They did stop making it. I don't know if they brought it back or not. But
Wash sponge?
yeah, that's the new one. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see. Basil says, "Hey Matt, if one did not want to go down the path of coating for a specific car, will spray sealants or waxes actually provide protection against longer-term paint damage from the heat/sun?"
No, it's more for just, chemical bonding or, changing the contact angle. If you were to look at a spray sealant under a microscope, it looks like the silicon dioxide is embedded as like 2 miles apart. So it's not doing a great job of protecting, because there's generally with a spray sealant there's no cross hatching. It doesn't bond to itself. So it doesn't create a full layer on the surface, and so a bird craps on your car, it's not going to do squat, other than maybe helping it wash off a little bit easier. But generally speaking, you have very little chemical resistance. So I don't think so. I would want to wax the darn thing.
Got a super chat, $5 US from Matt Brubaker. For faded exterior plastics, C4 or solution finish. The car is stored outside.
Solution finish and then EXO. I don't like C4. So you would need to solution finish it first, clean it, solution finish it, then do EXO on top.
Anthony says, "Hey Matt, I've been an Inside the Hex member for about 4 years now.
Nice.
However,
Uh-oh.
I've probably seen only 3 Hex videos."
What?
Well, here, it gets more into it.
Okay.
Do y'all email when there's a new video? No.
No.
That's not something we do or have the capability right now. Any plans to make videos more accessible? It's hard when Vimeo doesn't keep track of what you've watched either. I'd love to watch more Hex videos, but I can't save a playlist to catch up on old content.
Yeah, it's on our list.
It's on
The problem is that I wanted it to be on our platform, and so we're sort of beholden to what apps are available, and so we're doing it behind a paywall. And so the tricky part is, there's the app doesn't give us any notification capability, which is freaking stupid. But we're hoping for some other options here in the not too distant future where we have the ability to notify.
Chip from Chip's Place says, "Sorry to hear you have to move. You put a lot of work where you are/where at." It's a good thing, Chip. We're moving someplace. It's gonna be
I like
better.
moving.
Yeah.
It's like a fresh start. It's a new project. I like projects.
Let's see. Jeffrey McDonald says, "What is this? A drive and talk?" Nice.
This is a sit in a comfy seat and talk.
CK Max says, "Do you think my press haul will last with iron remover? If I rinse and wash out after each use, I only use iron remover once a season."
Oh yeah, I've had no problems with iron removers. I don't even think I've had a tip fail with iron removers. The one thing I'd suggest, unscrew the tip. So just back it off a couple of turns. That'll help with the tip breaking. But yeah, iron removers usually I don't have a problem with in the bottles.
Greg wants to know, hey Matt, what are the top 5 cars you're looking to buy next?
Lotus Emira. I
got a deposit down.
Yeah. I really want a 991.1 Carrera GTS manual. I want to do a really awesome stereo in it. I want carbon ceramics on it, so I probably have to get one without carbon ceramics and retrofit them. So I really want one of those. I want a 2016 GT3 RS. I want a GT4 RS. That's what, 4?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the longer term would be the two sort of longer term cars would be a Gen 2 NSX and or a 458 Speciale. Ferrari 458 Speciale.
And would one of them be red now after your experience?
Oh yeah, I definitely want a red car, or maybe a couple.
Let's see. Aaron, speaking of cars you might want next year, Matt.
Okay.
What's your opinion on Miatas? Wife is looking at NAs for a project car.
No, I don't like them.
Bryce has it.
Get an S2000.
Let's see. Perry Ocean Auto Designs. Hey, Matt. Is there a reason you don't use CarPro Eraser for cleaning glass? I seem to use this for glass more than an actual glass cleaner.
I use it all the time. Not specifically. I just think invisible glass is so darn good. I mean, it's probably pretty much the same thing. One has a blue dye and the other one doesn't. I don't know. I like that a lot, and I like Vision a lot too. Really interested that CarPro Phobic or CarPro Clarify Phobic was really freaking a cool experience. So, yeah, I mean that's why.
All right, detailing garage. Before I get to his question here, because he's referring to that pressure washer hose at your house. So have you installed the new one yet, or is it just sitting there still?
It's at least it's sitting there. It's sitting there.
We're closer.
Yeah, it's closer.
Okay. Well, when you actually switch it out,
Yep.
are you going to sell it? Will you be willing to sell it?
Sure.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So 2 years from now, detailing garage, check back in. It's going to sit there for a little while. Aaron says, do you plan on taking any more Armor detail supply products besides the wheel coating?
Yeah, glass coating. I have the iron remover over there. And keep trying stuff.
All right. Eric says, I have a question for you. I have a heavily contaminated vehicle
Okay.
that has a couple chips and paint that I picked up for a great deal. Mm-hmm. Does your decon package work for heavy contamination?
Sure.
Would you recommend washing several times before the clay pad? I figure once I get it deconned, I can OE paint and touch up the few spots, then polish and coat.
I don't think so. If you do a good thorough wash, you're going to get all the surface level stuff off. So, the pressure washer would help. So I'm going to rinse it. Then I'm going to do do the decon part and getting all my jams cleaned and stuff like that. So that may take you more time, like the engine bay cleaning with some Griot's engine cleaner. You might have a little more time to clean up all the cracks and all that. Under the trunk, the trunk cracks and the like the door trim or the door jams, I should say. So cleaning out all the jams and stuff might take a little more time. But you can use, you can use Griot's engine cleaner. You can use Green Star, an all-purpose cleaner. Then, if you spray on the iron remover, that'll take care of the iron stuff. Since it's more heavily, dirty, and it may have more iron and contaminants, so I'd soak it down pretty well. I'd take 2 gloves, spray a little on your hands, and just kind of make sure, wipe it on the car. Don't buff it on, but just walk around the car and make sure you get good even coverage. Let that sit for 5 minutes, spray it off, and then your real work is going to come in the clay part. So that's where a clay sponge, like the Rag Company clay sponge. I'd probably also want a clay bar as well. So that'd be where I'd put in the extra effort. So after you've done the washing and after you've done the iron removing, now your surface should be clean as can be. Just the embedded contaminants or the part that needs to come off. So that's where I would do a thorough, probably actual clay bar. Get the RKB clay bar, the Coach Chemi clay bar from our store. Mix up some McKees at 128:1. Use lots of lubrication and get it dialed. And the car, just doing that, the car is going to transform if it's all beat up. Then you can choose to polish. After polishing, then I would get a Dr. Color chip kit and fix your chips.
Now he does add here in a separate message, he does not have a pressure washer yet. So a little
yeah, I mean, it wouldn't matter. I mean, just order like a Gilmore Foam Master. So you could foam it up with some soap, or just wash it like normal, old school.
Owen wants to know, what were the new German-designed Chinese-made polisher Matt used in the recent video?
Liquid Elements.
And when will they be available for purchase?
What did we say? What was our D-date? May 1st, I believe. Yeah.
Next month.
Yeah, so May 1st is when we'll launch, and we're launching with the 5-inch and 1-inch.
Let's see here. Obsessed Mobile Detailing says, I've been using the new single battery Milwaukee Quiet Leaf Blower. Mm-hmm. And it gives us the part number here.
Yeah.
I think you would prefer it over the Ego. It's 500 CFM and only 54 decibels.
Yeah, I've had it. I don't love it.
I have the smaller one. It's not great. But
Yeah.
I
Doesn't feel right to me. But it's not bad.
Chris M says, tell me about the leather and pine air freshener. How do I use it? How strong is it? What do I do?
So I need to test it a little bit more, but it lasts probably 4 days in the car. So what I'm going to do is start spraying it on a sponge, and then I bet you it'll last a long time. I actually like in the car, I like just the leather more than the leather and pine. The leather and pine smells a little more like Christmas, and probably a little more than you'd like. What I would do is get just get the Color Lock sponges we have, or just use any sponge, and just soak it, spray it on there, soak it on, throw it under your seat, and it's the best air freshener I found in the car. It's amazing. I got it over there. So it's the room scent. So it's on the Destination OG side.
Spray bottle.
Yeah, we're gonna make it. I bought all kinds. I bought the Stinky Be Gone from Griot's. I've always been using Griot's leather interior, which lasts about 5 seconds. But when you do smell it, I love the smell of it. So it smells like that. But what happened is I went to Fred's. We did Fred's Garage, and I went and got in his Taycan, and I'm like, oh man, you just spray some Griot's leather interior? He's like, no. Like, I'm using your stuff. I mean, what do you mean my stuff? It's like the house stuff. I was like, well, when do you spray? He's like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. I was like, holy crap, this smells amazing. So I never even thought about using it in the car. And I bought a bunch of stuff, like 5 or 6 different interior scents, and none of them work. So I think we're gonna launch it as a car scent.
Nice.
It's gonna be great.
Mike wants to know, you got any thoughts on cleaning and coating a Cybertruck?
Yeah, I don't know. I see lots of people wrapping them. I would put Dr. Beasley's metal coat on it and see how that did. And then, I don't really know. You can use like Wyman stainless steel cleaner like you do on a refrigerator. Is that what you're gonna do? Which is too oily. Yeah, I don't know.
Good luck, Blake. Let us know. Let's see. Moving NYX, Minnesota. Hey, Matt, longtime viewer.
Cool.
About to pull the trigger on the Kranzle solution.
Nice.
He's
Smart.
in Quebec.
Okay.
Wondering, how much savings can one expect from waiting on Canadian operations? Currently, it's about $300 shipping and $350 in duties.
All of that. Right?
Mm-hmm. Just a matter of
so it'll probably, my wager is it'll probably be 10% more than the US, just because I'm just not sure, because we buy more in the US than we'll be buying in Canada. and we'll be the main distribution hub in Canada with our friends at Kranzle. So, what's the currency exchange right now? 30% or so, something like that.
It's 28-ish.
Yeah. So, I mean, that exists, right? So your Canadian dollar is a little weaker than the U.S. dollar, and so it really is going to depend on Canadian to German, what the exchange is. So, but shipping's going to be like, I don't know, $50, $38 or whatever we have. Maybe it's more than that. Maybe it's like $100 or something, because it's a lot of boxes.
It's less than 300 though.
Oh yeah. And so that other extra $350 is your duties and import taxes, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, yeah, you're talking probably $600 Canadian, $700 Canadian less.
Yeah. So hold out if you can.
We're probably looking at October. Maybe opening as fast as we can compile the data and get the deal put together. So we're looking at probably October, November deliveries. So maybe pre-orders in some late summer. Is depending on how quickly we can get this figured out.
Ray Valero says, any chance Matt would try Jimbo's Tough as Shell? So we were talking about Jimbo Balaam earlier.
Yeah, I don't know is that his coating or something? If it's a coating, probably not. Is that a spray sealant?
Oh, it's not popping up here.
Yeah.
Turtle wax, there you go. That's not what we're looking for. Not the one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to trying anything.
Yeah.
But
Ray, tell us more about that. Here's good. You like this. Jorge George says, hey, Matt, how was the quality of that front-facing camera on the E30? That was good.
It's good, yeah, it's a good one. You didn't cut that out?
Nope.
Oh, shoot.
I heard it. I wasn't watching it, but I heard it. And I was like, what?
It looks just like
man,
it.
that thing was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Jose says, FYI, the Not All pH is Created Equal is on the Obsessed Garage knowledge base page.
Yeah.
I think Matt wrote it when he was testing pH with probes a few years ago.
Yep.
Dragon43 says, can you leave Touchless diluted 50-50 in the foam cannon, or will the surfactants and or foamability, like if you leave GSF? I have an active 2.0.
Yeah, I think it probably will. But again, the main purpose of that is not really to foam anyway. So I think we'll be okay. I mean, in a perfect world, grab yourself some, if you have a CR Spotless or something, grab some DI water, or, buy a jug of distilled water and, pour that in there, because then there's nothing for it to attack. But I've left it in there diluted and it seems to work okay. So I don't think it's going to hurt the functionality. I think it just hurts the foaming capability. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you had really nasty, like really hard water. I wouldn't want to let it sit. I would just mix up what I thought I needed.
All right, let's see. Thanks for the reply, says Kevin, on the vacuum reel setup. Should I just buy a Kranzle and not be a tightwad?
Oh, yeah.
If so,
yeah,
which one? 1622?
No, 1322. 100%. Yeah, the 1622 only exists to spite me. It's the only reason it exists. The original was the 1622, right? So the 1622, it's 1.5 gallons per minute. It didn't have auto stop start. So when I flew to New York, met Ludwig Kranzle and Uwe, his lead designer. I met his Angela Hamilton, who's the representative, and I forget what Jeff's last name was. Jeff was turning it over to Angela. He was retiring, so Jeff was my original contact or connection. Actually, my original connection was Dan. Dan left. And then he set me up with Jeff, and so then Jeff let me become a dealer after me begging him, and so we had such good success with the 1122, so they would hear me out, and so I flew to New York City. We all met in New York City because Ludwig and Uwe were there for a show or something like that, and we sat at a Marriott breakfast, the Marriott restaurant. And I think it was the JW Marriott or something like that. And so it was a nice place. We're sitting there, and I grabbed one of their, they had them bring me some paper napkins, and I drew on there what I wanted to have. I wanted the 1622 with less pressure, more flow. So I wanted a 1,000 PSI target with more flow, and I wanted it to turn off. And so the 1322 is the car washing thing. And so what happened is all the other dealers, because I have exclusivity on the 1322, all the other copycat dealers said, well, we want one of those. And so Kranzle made a 1622, which is terrible for washing cars because it's only at 1.5 gallons per minute, and they just put a pressure switch on it so that it turns off. We sell the 1622 because some detailing rigs, if you're mobile detailing and you just don't have the capability to get a 20 amp capability, or again, if you're mobile and you don't have a generator that's stout enough, that's where the 1622. Plus, if you're pulling from a tank, the lower flow can be a little bit helpful, and you're not sucking through as much water. But in your garage, yeah, you'd be freaking nuts if you can swing it. Just buy the 1322, 100%.
Tom Tarn says, can you tell us more about these new bucket packages?
Oh yeah, I'm excited for this. So no significant change to the components, just colors. So we've redone the vinyl. The next bucket package we're going to offer is going to be white dolly, white gamma seal, white detail guard, a blue and white label on a navy blue bucket. It's going to be sick. Then the next version we're going to do is going to be black gamma seal, black label, white lettering, or maybe gray lettering, black bucket dolly, and gray, gunmetal gray bucket. And we're also going to do a yellow and translucent bucket as part of that. That's going to be part of the garage giveaway with a really cool. And then we're going to revamp the vinyl on the red, white, and blue, or red, black, and blue, or whatever you want to call it, white bucket base version. So the goal is to figure out what's most popular and then create a configurator where you can go and configure it however you want, and then we'll build it and ship it. So that's what we're going to be doing. And then the one I'm holding out for some special occasion is my Brewster. So it'll be a green and black bucket package. So that one will be coming in the fall. Maybe we'll make a Halloween version too, an orange and black.
Brendan wants to know, do you like any of the ammo products?
I did, back in the day, the marquee ammo product was Hydrate. That was like his claim to fame. It's basically a spray wax that flashed or would, you didn't have to fully wipe the product. It would, sort of flash, evaporate. And so it worked famously well on waxes. So if your car had like Swiss Wax and Corso, or you had Culinite 845 or some sort of wax on the surface, it was a great product. So back in the day when I was buying basically every product I could get my hands on, I'd reach out to Larry, I bought everything, tried it out, and Hydrate was really the only product that made the cut for, and I approached him about, hey, I'm thinking about becoming a retailer for stuff. He doesn't retail anywhere but direct. That's his model. He also doesn't do gallons because he's a direct consumer business and he sticks to his guns there. So he didn't want to get into wholesaling and all that stuff. And so he considered it. And then eventually I stopped using Culinite and Hydrate just didn't quite fit as much. But his products are decent. I think they're made by Warner Chemical or something like that, from what I understand, to his specification. But there isn't anything I think that beats like CarPro or that beats some of the best in class stuff.
Kyrie Robin Lewis says, hey Matt, is there any downside when it comes to powder coating the bike lift in the OG store?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, there's just the cable that runs down the track. But yeah, I mean, that would be sweet. There shouldn't be any reason why it wouldn't work.
Chris M. says, when it comes to the pro coatings, have any of the big companies hinted towards moving away from the pro-only model?
None of them. None. They're so afraid of what the ramifications would be.
Our official Helen correspondent, Warren Barnhart IV here.
Okay.
He's checking in.
All right.
He wants you to know, and maybe Waba and Mike have to know. The bake shop finally opened up after 5 minutes of being 5 months of being closed for the holidays.
Yep.
So that's why they haven't been up to Helen in 5 months, Warren. Now you know.
They're going in July 11th.
July 11th.
Yep. And I have a good chance I'm going to be buying the house, the next door
The
house.
next door house?
So imagine you'll have a budget option, or an option that will be like half the cost. It's gonna be sweet. Or if you want to book out the whole compound, and I'm gonna get the gate working,
Both
it's
houses.
gonna be so cool.
Steven says, I've detailed my car roughly one every 18 to 24 months.
Yep.
This will be the first time I coat with ceramic. Briefly walk through each step, including pads, please. It's a 2011 Subaru STI.
So polishing wouldn't be any different than what you've been doing, right? You just want to get the surface as as perfect as you can. So you do the normal decon process, and then you do your normal 1 or 2 step polishing, depending on whatever's necessary. It's after the polishing that you've been normally doing, where it may be a little bit different. But again, same thing as what you were doing with wax. So you're going to use something like CarPro Eraser to get all the polish oils, the mineral oils off the surface. And then if you're doing CSL XO, it's easier than waxing. So you're going to want an applicator like our suede applicator. I'm testing some other applicators, but the suede applicator from CarPro. I actually was using the auto fiber microfiber little square applicator, but I ran out of product. I almost didn't have enough to get around an E30, which is a tiny little car. So it used a whole lot more product than when you're doing the suede, because the suede is so thin. So I think it's hard to beat suede. So you do the suede applicator. You don't need to put a ton of product on the applicator. You should take like a half a bottle to do your whole car. But I'm doing CSL first. I'm going to let it sit overnight, or at least wait 4 or 5 hours for that to set up and cure, and then I'm going to put XOV5 on top of it. You could do CSL XO on all the windows. I wouldn't do it on the windshield. So hold off on doing on the windshield, do something else on the windshield. I like the woofs that we have. I am testing some other stuff out. I just did Diamond Protec on this car to see how I like it. But that's the process. Super simple. Don't be scared. Just you need 2 towels. You'll probably need you'll need say 8 towels. So two or 4 towels for the and I want them to be new towels. In a perfect world, they're new washed towels. But I like a high pile towel, so my wax removal towel from the rag company. And then I like a low pile towel, the Pearl from the rag company, which I call the coating removal towel. So I have the high pile in the left hand, the other in my right hand, and I do the initial wipe and then do the secondary wipe. And just take your time, do one section at a time, and make sure you wipe it off. CSL XO, both are wipe on, wipe off. So you put it on, say the whole trunk, and then you wipe it all off, and then do the bumper, and then wipe it off, and do the fender, and wipe it off. Super, super simple. Easier than waxing, labor-wise.
Yeah, and then Matt D in the chat reminded me, so there's dozens of videos on the channel going through that, even a series on that same generation WRX.
Oh, yeah.
Your dad's, right?
Oh, yeah, that one I waxed.
Nick Vinto says, hey, Matt, will you be looking to hire people in the new warehouse? If so, do you have any information on how to apply?
Yeah, our immediate needs are going to be coming up here. One, I'm looking for a sales and lead person for the Villages project. So this would be sort of like a sales, design type salesperson. Somebody is going to be going out and meeting with realtors and going and presenting to the Villages Corvette Club, and really working with Kyle and Ed. So Ed is very likely going to manage the properties, manage the projects, manage the the locations. So picture this garage, but in a town square where 10,000 people a day come through. And they're going to be able to walk through and touch and feel and see everything, sit down with the designer, and then we're going to have install teams. So those are the other immediate people we're going to be looking for. We're going to be looking for people who have skilled in trades, plumbing, electrical, Swiss Trax flooring. We'll be doing lighting install, cabinet install, basic install. But my partner in this brand already has a GC license, so we'll be operating under his license. So we're going to be looking for people to come and work with us on the install side. But then I'm going to need a sales type person to come and be, run sales and generate sales for that. And then that will be very heavily tied in with, garage design. And we'll be designing, our garage design will probably head in that direction where we'll be doing not just local design, but international design from these locations. I'm probably going to end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 locations would be my wager. I think it's going to be pretty wild. We're going to start with 1, but I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with 5 separate local retail locations. Maybe also consider doing one in like Winter Park or Windermere in the future. So 5 to 10 locations over the next 10 years. So I think it's going to be a pretty lucrative opportunity if I find the right person to help go out and generate the sales. We're going to have a connection with the villages and the villages family as well, and so if we do a good job and we show some value, they'll be referring people to us as well. So cultivating that relationship, and then we may be even someday if we do a good job of this, we may be in all in the model homes as well. And so picture this. So picture and we thought we could do it in 2,000 square feet. It's going to have to be like 4,000 to 5,000 square feet to start. But picture a clear glass door, like picture this door behind us here was clear glass in a town square, like a shopping town square where there's restaurants and movie theaters and all kinds of stuff. They do live music and all this stuff. So picture you're walking down the street and we have Cree lighting, and picture this garage is lit up and there's a cabinet array, and then it says Obsessed Garage on the front of it. And to the right of it, it says Destination Obsessed Garage. And so the right side will be outdoor kitchens, closets, appliances. There's not a high-end appliance dealer here. So all those things that I'm interested in, lighting, interior lighting, anything that we find interesting. Also, there may be a home theater component to this in the future. More to come on that. And then on the left side is where the garage is, and that's where we have flooring and lighting, cabinets, and then we have cubes set up where you can sit down with a designer in real time. We'll probably also get into 3D walkthroughs, maybe VR walkthroughs with people, and then also picture we have 10 golf carts out front, and we have a bunch of model homes around the area where we have great relationships with our customers, where you can jump in a golf cart. If you're considering it and you were thinking you like this or that color, you jump in and you go see what Rousseau looks like in green, what Rousseau looks like in black, and what MSS Plus looks like, because we have it in various garages throughout. And the cool thing about this town is that most people, their family comes and visits, and so there'll be a national component of these showrooms as well, because people come from all over the country. The other thing that we're going to have people do is, in order for you to work with us, you'll have to sign a photo release or a video release, where the install teams will have the lead of the install team will also have a vlogging camera. So we're going to start a channel called OG Builds or something like that. And so that'll be an all build channel. So every single garage we do will get a YouTube video, which then we'll share the link to the owner, and they can share with all their friends. Obviously, there'll be some sort of snowball marketing that'll come from that. And then the last component of this is, because this will afford me the ability to actually have licensed install teams. We'll have 1 or 2 of our elite teams that are travelers. And so when we want to go do a big garage project somewhere in the country, you'd be able to hire them. It'll cost a lot, but you'd be able to hire them, and then I would come in, instead of me having to do all the work. We would use the install team to come out and do what we're talking about here. So you can see there's going to be tons of positions available. Blue collar install type, where you get to play with the coolest stuff in the world. There'll also be skilled trade type positions. There will be team lead and management positions as well. And then, I'm looking for, somebody to, be the salesperson for this setup. and you know, that has a. I'm not looking for like a Type A salesman. I'm looking more of like a Type C personality, somebody like me, you know, who is a salesman, but is a more technical salesman, because that's going to be the type of clientele that we have. Now, most of the garages around here aren't going to be like this. They're going to be you know, $10,000 Swiss Trax flooring, Pro Slat cabinets, and maybe we sell them a pressure washer. The high-end garages are going to get, you know, Rousseau and maybe some lighting and maybe an air compressor. So it's going to be a lot more cookie cutter stuff, easy installs, but, you know, a golf cart focus as well. Michelle is going to have a house that'll be a model for us too. So we're heading down the path to figure this out. Right now, I'm in the drafting of the pro forma. I'm bringing on a partner, an equity partner on this. We're drawing up what the prototype, or what the first would look like in a perfect world. And we went back to the drawing board, because the first one we did in a 2,000 square foot footprint, it's just not big enough. It wasn't enough to do all the display and have room to make, you know, to actually have customers sit and present. And so I think it needs to double in space. So that's where I'm at in this process. But I would think by, you know, next year we'll be in Canada, we'll be in Australia, we'll also be in, you know, local. So we'll be covering local distribution all the way to international distribution. That's also going to afford me the ability to go to brands and say, hey, I want you to make this pressure washer like I did with Kranzle, and let me distribute this everywhere.
RJS Motorsports wants to know, in a garage, do you prefer a black ceiling or a white ceiling for detailing a vehicle?
I like white. You know, the concept of black is then you have less reflections, but I don't know, maybe I'm an old man. I like the it's light and bigger feeling, but you know, there's a black ceiling in here. I'm down with the black ceiling. I think it's cool. I may do a black ceiling in the Middleton house, but generally speaking, I prefer white.
Jeffrey McNall Jr. wants to know, did the Snap-on Gnome make it to the new OG location?
I have no idea. I hope not. It's in your office.
Yeah.
Watching
there,
over
Jeffrey.
you. It's like your...
Yeah, he keeps
It's like your rosary beads.
evil spirits away.
Yeah.
Bad juju. Oh, here you go. Timely question from CHS Baseball. Okay. Have you tested the Ego pressure washer yet? Yep,
I tested the Active 2.0 and the Ego. The Active 2.3, sorry. The Active 2.3 is not bad. It's pretty decent, but it's really, really loud. The Ego is the quietest, by far the quietest pressure washer we've ever tested. It did 1.46 gallons per minute on its stock gun and wand. It did 1.61 gallons per minute at 1200 psi with my modified setup. It's really great. I'm bringing it in the store for sure. So if you're an apartment dweller, there is a little quirk. There's a little bit of almost like a pulse, like a little gurgle pulse. We're talking like 10 to 15 psi. When you're siphoning water from a bucket, there's a little bit of a flutter that you can notice, you know, especially with the testing gear on it. But it is freaking incredible for apartment use, because it's crazy quiet. It now the thing's freaking $800, so it's extremely expensive.
Batteries, right?
Correct. It's $450 without the batteries, but what are you going to do without the batteries? You need batteries, and you need big batteries, so you might as well buy it as a kit, because buying those batteries separately, they're like $400 a piece. You get 2 batteries for $350. It is the highest quality, so it's a cheap pressure washer, but with high-end batteries, everything's bespoke. It's not some Chinese ripoff like all the other ones are, just some OE thing. So the pump, it seems bespoke to me. It's a brushless pump, is why it's so quiet. There's no ramp up of the pump, so that's fantastic. It's instant on off. It does have a pressure switch, so it turns off. It has like a little air, like a psst when you let off, but it doesn't have that squeal. It's freaking incredible. So it did 1.66 gallons a minute at like 950 psi. I prefer to do it. I think we did it with a 3.5 nozzle, I believe, so we could get around 1200. We lost 0.05 GPM and gained about 250 psi. I felt like it felt better that way. The other nice thing is it actually did rated with its 15-degree nozzle. It did 3,000 psi at 1.1 gallons per minute. So it could be not great, but a decent like siding cleaner. It has the most pressure of any of the pressure washers I tested. Like none of them saw 3,000 psi, and so it did pretty darn close to its rated spec. And they're smart. Like the 40-degree nozzle is a different orifice. You can see it. And so it had more flow, less pressure. It had 2,300 psi with their stock 40-degree nozzle. They have a bespoke gun, no swivel, but the gun is really pretty nice. And I used it in turbo mode only, but we did test like the different modes. It also has, because it's a brushless motor, it had 3 different output modes as well. It foamed well. We used a 1.1 degree orifice on it. Now, it's heavy. The batteries are heavy. So if you are in an apartment, you're going to get a good workout. And then if you're carrying, I figure, we're going to test this, but I figure you'll need 3 6-gallon buckets filled, 90% to do a car. But we're going to test that theory out. I'm going to fill up a bucket and then fill it as many times as I need to see, how, if I'm doing a normal Mormon wash, do the wheels, wash the car, foam it, do all that stuff, how much water would I need to go and refill?
Dayscene Automotive brings up a good point here. He said it's clever that the Liquid Elements polishers are white. My Rupes polishers are covered in polish and I can't seem to remove it.
Well, now mine's pink because of all that red paint, so I can't get it off. I'm gonna have to try to polish it.
Jeremy Smith says about $200 plus worth of stuff from OG this week.
Nice.
Brake buster,
Okay.
brushes,
Yep.
mitt,
Yep.
OG dressing. He's looking to build a weekend road trip kit. Any other suggestions? So here, I brought up his order.
You want waffle weaves?
Okay.
So I want waffle weaves and pluffles. I want McKee's N914. I want a solo sprayer, a solo spray bottle, and I'm going to dilute 128 to 1 in my McKee's. I want at least 10 waffle weaves. I want 10 waffle weaves and 10 pluffles. This is what I take when I go to the mountains. 10 of each. I'll take 20 of each, but 10 of each. And then I want McKee's and I want invisible glass. So I want glass cleaner.
There you go, Jeremy. Now you got another $200 order to make.
Yeah, you want the bucket. So you want at least 1 6-gallon bucket with the rinseless thingy
Sticker.
and the Gamma Seal, so that way you can throw the stuff in the bucket and take it with you. So I only take glass cleaner and McKee's. I'm not going to clean my wheels and crap like that when I'm traveling generally, and so that way I can do a rinseless wash if I wanted to, or just clean the windows and clean off bugs and stuff like that.
All right, let's see. Chris M says DIY Detail just did a full video on coating a Cybertruck. There were some good takeaways for polishing raw stainless, or excuse me, for prepping raw stainless. Well, there you go. Check that out. Hey Matt, says Joshua, I watched the M3 polishing video in pain.
Okay.
Because I just bought the Griot's G15 5-inch from you guys and haven't
good.
even used it yet.
It's good, just if you do that in life, there's always a new phone, there's always a new computer, there's always a new everything. But it is a lot better. The Griot's is nice, but the Liquid Elements is arguably better than the darn Rupes LHR15.
Then he says, do you think it's worth selling the Griot's to get the LE?
Probably not.
He hasn't even opened it yet, though.
You won't know the difference.
Okay.
I would just keep the Griot's. I think the LE is going to freaking slay. Now that I feel confident about it, I knew it was going to do well, but now that I freaking really like the darn thing, I kept using it. Like, I've got everything. I'm the douchiest, richest detailing guy, probably one of the tops in the world, and I'm using the cheapest polisher, and I'm like loving it. I'm like, this thing is freaking great. I don't know what to say. I mean, crap. I need to call and tell them let's double the price.
Ryan says, hey Matt, any follow-up on the Griot's Boss metering tips? I watched a few of your videos, but couldn't find your testing them anywhere.
I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to do it.
He says, I love the idea.
It's on the schedule, I think, next week.
Oh, nice.
So
there you go, Ryan.
Tommy's going to force me to do it.
BH says, I placed many orders over the last year or so.
I love it.
Have never received a damaged box. It's always packed very well.
Oh, I like to hear that.
Thanks,
yeah.
OG.
We don't frickin' mess around.
Yeah. Macintosh Plus says, hey Matt, any updates on the ETA for the DI solution? I'm struggling with 400 TDS water.
Our resin is inbound, so our resin has been ordered, so we can do some testing. Tommy is building my kit for my house, and then we'll start sharing it. And so we're making progress. I don't have a date for you yet, though. We need to like torture test and make sure it freaking works.
Let's see. Use 191. Have you had many orders to the UK? Yes, we have some going out today, actually. I saw 'em. Is it possible? Yes.
Yep.
Is it a pain? No, not really.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the choice, I mean, we still do DHL, right? Choose the DHL option.
Do DHL, UPS.
Yeah, UPS will get it there nicely. DHL will get it there like frickin' faster than we can get something in California.
It's pretty quick.
You know, it's expensive, and you got to pay import duties and taxes. But yeah, it'll get to you. The boxes won't have a rounded corner. I'm telling you, DHL is amazing. I buy stuff from Japan all the time. It comes perfectly.
Dustin wants to know, do you want to tease any of the garage giveaway items? We talked about the bucket package.
Yeah, bucket package. Let's see.
I believe there's some new apparel, some specific
new
apparel.
shirts, new hats. We're working on a set of sunglasses. Let's see, what else did we talk about? Koken Essentials kit. A entry-level kit of Wera, an entry-level kit of Stahlvilla, an entry-level kit of Knipex, in tool grid, in our new all gray tool grid. Let's see, a few dozen different detailing packages. A new version of our seat cover. This thing is freaking great, man. This I use this thing every single day. The Obsessed Garage, what is this thing called? Seat something or other. Seat, but it has like this like neoprene stuff that doesn't allow your sweat to go through. So I keep it right here behind my seat, like a good white trashian, and I put it over top of my seat, my fancy Recaro's here.
It stays in place too. It doesn't like
slip
and slide.
Yeah. That's the key, as it stays, and then it doesn't let your sweat. I mean, I'm in Florida. I'm doing CrossFit, and it's freaking nasty. It's about to start getting really nasty. Huge fan of that.
We
have like 50 things. It's going to be one of the most robust giveaways we've ever done.
July 15th.
Yeah.
Through August 31st.
And the winner gets a garage.
So yeah, that's a few months out, but we're working on that for sure.
Yep.
Yuri says the 1622 original output is 1600 psi, 1.7 GPM. So when turned down to 1000 to 1100 psi, would it output more GPM than 1320?
No, because it only does 1000 psi. So there is no turning it down. I'm not sure why they rated it 1600. It doesn't do that. It does like 950 to 1000 at like 1.4 to 1.5 gallons a minute.
Mickey M says, how long do you talk Adam into doing the exterior of his house so we can all see that?
I'm not doing it, so I don't care. So never.
Cash Wood says, when are Cox reels being shipped out from OG? Oh, a couple hundred went out last week. We have the next order is due here Monday.
Yeah.
Tracking said so. Depending on what you ordered, how many other things are in there, but yeah, Monday we'll have 8 more pallets worth.
Yeah.
Neil White says, hey Matt, my 4-year-old son has become obsessed with Porsche/BMWs and loves watching your wash and talks.
Nice.
So you appeal to all age groups.
Yeah.
Matt, Dustin wants to know, at some point, didn't you say there was a chance of you going on the smoking tire? Did anything ever happen with that?
Yeah, I flew all the way out there just for that, and then he canceled on me that morning.
So, not a good experience.
Yeah.
Tom?
If I'm out there, I'd like to, try. I just call
there you go.
Freddie or TJ. Somebody will connect me or get me on. but I don't want to go out there just for that.
Tom says, thanks for the info on the bucket packages, by the way. Hey, Matt, who's all tuned, wants to know, what do you think about the Adams spray-on graphic ceramic coating spray? Would you recommend just doing a typical ceramic coating? Cheers.
Yeah, it's freaking stupid. Hunt that in the trash. No, definitely don't do that. Yeah, you don't want spray sealants. You want to do it for real. You need the resin. The resin is the key. The silicon dioxide, the titanium dioxide, the magnesium carbide, whatever the binding agent is, that they put in water delivered, spray sealant or graphene, refined graphene oxide. RGO is just an additive to a silicon dioxide based, or silicon dioxide binding agent delivery system. So Ivan LaCroix talks about this. Think of your coating as a bowl of Jello, and then in the Midwest, they do the fruit in Jello, which is freaking gross, And so think of the fruit as the binding agent. That's what silicon dioxide. So the resin is the Jello. So the Jello is what makes everything cross-link or connect. And then the thing that hardens it up and changes the contact angle of chemicals and water is the titanium dioxide or the silicon dioxide or the silicon dioxide with RGO, with refined graphene oxide in it. And so if you're doing that and delivering it in water, when the water evaporates, there's no Jello. Then there's just fruit. And so think of Jello. Without the Jello, we don't ever get the full surface layer of protection. You only get the fruit that's just sporadically attached to the jagged clear coat surface. And so what happens is there's enough of it that connects. That's they're close enough that they're closer than a drop of water. So that's why you get beading behavior, and you get some chemical protection. But all the gaps between, because there's no Jello, all the gaps between fruit leaves your clear coat unprotected. And so you get this sort of placebo effect of, man, I've got this great water behavior, water shooting off the surface, but I'm really not getting proper chemical resistance. I'm really not getting proper element resistance. I'm really just getting great water behavior. And if it just so happens that, a bird diarrhea is on your car, maybe it'll help with some of it running off. But generally speaking, because your clear coat is so jagged, when a bird takes a dump on your car or you get some tree sap or something, it plops on there. And the jagged clear coat, if you were to look under a microscope, your clear coat is got a bunch of peaks and valleys to it. It embeds and sticks. Pollen is going to stick to the surface. Dust, sand, stuff like that. So you really want the resin, you want the Jello to cross-link, and you want it to connect so that I have a full, and now it's nano thick, very, very small, amount of thickness of the protection layer. But at least as long as it's connected, as long as it's touching each other, and then the binding agent and the water behavior agent is the little specks of fruit, if you will, or the silicon dioxide.
Oh, let's see. Scott Taylor says, you said you weren't happy with the pull cap on the squeeze press-out bottles. Mm-hmm. Have you considered having your own made? A mold would cost roughly $10,000, designed to your exact specifications.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. The problem with it is it's not, the orifice is a little too small, so it doesn't dispense soap. You have to really squeeze the heck out of it.
Hey, maybe we need this guy. Andrew says, do you have any needs for technology engineers based on all these new ideas?
No, I need doers.
Jeffrey McNall Jr. says, dang, shuffleboard and OG in the Villages? I have to visit the in-laws more often. Last week in Kentucky, I met 3 people who had either parents or in-laws that lived in the Villages. It's wild. Everywhere. Anthony, hey Matt, where do you store detail brushes? I missed it in the videos. Maybe we can get another tour of garage cabinets and non-sonic drawers.
I just sit them in my cabinet. Just sit them. Maybe I should come up with something better. But I'm not a big detail brush guy. I have one, so just stick it on the shelf.
He says, also, I need a garage design. We can help you with that, Anthony.
Yep.
He says, what's the lead once I order a design?
So another thing keep in mind for us. So we've actually changed we realized we were turning a lot of people away. We charge $2,500 for our big designs, that probably should be $25,000, but we charge $2,500. And so, but what if you're just doing like flooring, lighting, cabinets, and we do that in a couple of 3, 4, 5 hours with you? We're not going to charge $2,500 for that. So what you do is go on to the design page and click the button that says inquire. I don't know how many days they're backed up. You're probably within a week or so you'd have your introductory call, and you can kind of figure out, do you need a big design, a little design? What do we need? So what level of design do you need? Usually we define it as if it's 20 hours or so, then we're gonna charge you a design fee of $2,500. If it's a basic single 2-car garage or 3-car garage, we're just doing flooring, lighting, cabinets, and rendering it out for you, we would take a deposit, $1,000 deposit, and apply that deposit to your purchase. If it's just, hey, you need some help with Swiss Trax flooring, you need us to lay it out for you, we'd do that for nothing. It doesn't cost anything. What we're trying to avoid is people having us do all this work and never buy it. Because it's fun. It's fun to go through that process and see what could be. But if you're not a buyer, then we're not really interested in doing all the work for nothing. So that's why we have a design deposit or a design fee. I mean, some of these garages the guys will work on for like 100 hours. They're charging $2,500 for that.
Ryan wants to know, have you seen the new OG spec Rolex? Gray and black GMT Master 2. It will match the Swiss Trax.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw it.
Do you have one ordered yet?
I wish.
How much does that one cost?
They're like 10 grand, 11 grand or something like that. But the problem is they're 20, to get one.
86, our buddy out in Australia says, how can I apply for a position when you come to Australia? At the very least, you'll need an interpreter. That's funny. Let's see. Thanks for the feedback on Ego pressure washer. Have you tested the Ego vacuum?
Yeah, I haven't. Tommy did. He said it's really weak in comparison to what, like say the Milwaukee. I got it sitting right there. I need to get it out and confirm that.
Will OG be carrying the Ego stubby nozzle for the leaf blowers in the future? Also, any new favorite 1/2 inch torque wrenches while going through all the other tool brands?
Don't we have the Ego stubby in the store?
I was looking. Yeah. We have this one. I thought we had the Ego version too, but
yeah, I don't know that they really have them yet.
I know we got
at least
a few.
available to us. Yeah.
So we have the Apex Air brand.
Yeah, which is great. Yeah, I mean we should have it at some point here.
And then any favorite 1/2 inch torque wrenches?
Come back to me on that. I just ordered my Stavella stuff, so I should have it in the next couple of weeks. But right now my favorite is the Sonic Click style. I really like those, and I've had a lot of them. But the Wero ones are kind of cool, but I think I like the Sonic better still, the black ones.
Our buddy out west, Brad Hone, says, I'm a super white trashian. I keep mine on the seat. Me too sometimes, Brad.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, our own Kyle Henderson says, that is the best explanation of why you want a true resin delivered coating rather than a spray that I've ever heard.
Yeah, it has to do with the connectivity. And actually, I used the wrong term, cross-link. Technically, I believe the only one that cross-links with the paint coating is Optimum. Where it actually cross-links chemically. It chemically bonds. It's not just surface level stuck. Like the G-Technic we just put on there is just surface level, semi-bonded to the surface of the clear coat, right? So it won't wipe off, but it easily polishes off. Something like Optimum, you'd probably need a wet sand down below the layer of the lowest peak or the lowest valley of the coating.
All right, our new friend CC Detailing says, if you're going to spend the time, hard work, and apply effort, don't ruin all that work by applying a spray coating. See it all the way through and coat it.
Yeah. And the coatings aren't, in comparison to polishes and polishers, I mean, what's CSL, like $50? It's not crazy expensive, especially since you're going to use it for a long time. It's going to be on the car for a couple of years.
All right, Who's All Tune says, I bought my attainable dream car.
Okay.
2015 C63 507 edition.
Okay.
Looking to coat it with something. Also, the car is PPF'd, so does that change my process?
Not really. I would still do CSL XO. I'd polish the PPF, especially if it's been on there for a while. So I'd polish it with Sonex Perfect Finish, and you just do a single step polish. It'll jewel it up and make it look beautiful, and then coat it. The G-Technic has Halo, Geon. They all have a version, but I would just do CSL XO on it.
Let's see. O'Brien needs your help here.
Okay.
Says, Matt, I need you
All right.
to get a GT4 RS.
Yeah.
I'm debating on a 991 GT3 RS and GT4 RS. The prices are about the same, but the GT4 RS is obviously new and has a warranty. I need the Matty perspective. So he needs your help.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, and then Kyle, our own Kyle, jumps in here about garage design. Introductory calls for garage design can happen basically immediately. We can have an initial design within a couple weeks.
There you go.
And Anthony says, sweet, I'll be in touch soon. Excellent. Matt, which model Tudor did you end up getting? Can we see a close-up of it? It looks good.
What is it called? The Pelagos?
Pelagos FXD Marine National? That's what Mr. Tudor says. So he sounds like he knows his
Maybe.
stuff.
Yeah. I like it. I've been wearing it a lot. It's just less stress. Let's see. It's less, it's what, $4,200 or something like that, versus, a Rolex that's
So
18 grand. Yeah, that's it.
Ex-Marine National.
I really like it.
Pelagos FXD at 41 millimeters.
It's a good. How much was it? $4,150. Yeah. So I feel like no one's gonna lop my arm off or my hand off to get this.
You feel that way when you're wearing the Rolex?
Sometimes, yeah.
The guy with the machete's just going to come up.
Yeah, someone's just gonna chop my hand off and take it.
Oh, man. Let's see. Scott Mitchell says, I've been wondering why Matt hates Sonos so much.
It's terrible.
From what I've seen him demo, it's basically the same as the Blue Sound stuff.
Not even
Ooh,
close.
here we go. That's good. Not close.
It's terrible.
Mr. Tudor to you says, I love it. I own that exact same one. And it's 42 millimeters. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. A little millimeter off there.
The other thing I learned is that this is as big as I want to go. The big 46 millimeter, even 43. This is right at the edge of size. I prefer 40 millimeters as my. That's why I never really liked watches. My Planet Ocean's a 43 or 44, and my Omega, and she always felt heavy and annoying. And so then getting the Rolex Submariner is perfect. Just I can wear that thing all day. It's comfortable. It's great. I'm into it. I wear a watch every day now. It's awesome. It's fun.
All right, a couple last questions here. Number one, Joshua, thank you for answering my question about the G15. On that topic, should I pull the trigger on the 3-inch, or do you know of something better coming in that price range?
In that price range, I don't think so. Yeah, they don't have a corded 3-inch, and the cordless one. Again, I'm not in love with. It's the 1-inch and 3-inch from LE or more. They feel like they're 3D printed kind of feel. They work. They're decent, but it's not world class like the the corded the 4000 series 5-inch. But the best 3-inch, if you want the best 3-inch, is the Flex XFE. How much more is the Flex over the Griot's? The Griot's I think is $180 or something like that. That's XFE. Yeah, that guy is $400. Yeah, that's a lot more. That's the best 3-inch polisher outside of the Mirka.
Mirka.
Yeah.
One true love.
Yeah, Mirka's a little. It's like you get 4 Griots, 5 Griots for 1 Mirka.
All right, last one here from David Dominguez. Looking for some tools. Do you have an ETA on those tool packages? Would love to support.
If you want tools, just email me and I'll build it for you right now. I can tell you exactly what to get. Screwdrivers, and I think what I'm going to do, this has been stressing me out. I don't think we can stock tools. I don't think I can afford to do it. that set, so my ultimate, what's going in my cabinet between Koken, Hazette, and Wera, primarily Koken, that set retail right there is, let's see, 10, 10, so 20, $23,400. Now, there's a lot of redundancy. Like, I can't give up any of them. I want the nut grip. I want the semi-deeps. I want all of these various, universal joints, all kinds of different versions of extensions and ratchets. And I mean, shoot, I've got 20 different ratchets over there as part of my ultimate collection. So what I think we're going to do, and I'm going to do this with Milwaukee as well. So we're gonna add this to our design service, right? And we're gonna have a tool design expert. Okay. So we'll have some essentials as well. So like with Milwaukee, we'll have essential tools that we retail and we stock and ship. Just go to the site and buy it. But things like the D handle, circular saw, the table saw, the big stuff, we're gonna do build to order. Right, and so if you want us to provide you some expertise, we're going to build out a Milwaukee collection for you. Let's say you already have 5 or 10 tools, but you wanted to build out, some version, but you don't want the full master collection. You want a custom collection. So we're going to publish and put the master collection up. We're going to publish, put the master collection of tools up. We're going to have some stocked, like the ratchets. We need to have the ratchets, on the site and stocked and available to ship. But the rest of it, we're going to do, and like instead of doing a $10,000, 3/8 inch tool set, and us try to get that all in stock, we're gonna provide you a resource. We're gonna meet and book a time, and we're gonna figure out some software and figure out a way to build out your toolkit. Make sure you get tool grid or foam or whatever we need. So I'm going to do the same thing with Milwaukee. So what I'm going to do is we're going to sell off the vast majority of our Milwaukee inventory, and then we're going to stock, like the mid-torque. We'd stock the mid-torque. We'll stock, the inflator, like the main tools that we use all the time. But we're going to offer for like all the accessories and stuff. Because the problem is it'll always show out of stock because there's on my bench over there, there's 2,000 pieces, and all it takes is one piece to be out of stock. From Koken, that has to come from Japan. And so then people aren't going to buy it anyway because it's going to show out of stock. And so what I'm going to do instead is we're going to show people, here's what it would cost if you wanted exactly what's in my drawer. Here's what it would cost if you did just the bare essentials. And we can build you anything in between. And we'll spend the time with you. And we won't charge you anything for that. And so if you're ready for that now, I'm pretty much ready. And I'm not ready on Knipex or Stahlvilla. My Stahlvilla order's coming. I'm 3/4 of the way through the Knipex catalog and ordering that stuff. But Koken, I've got 100% figured out. Wera, I've got 100% figured out. So that covers ratchets, sockets, screwdrivers, and some other screwdriver accessories, Allen keys as well. Knipex will probably be all of our pliers, or the vast majority of them, and then Stahlvilla is almost guaranteed going to be the vast majority of our wrenches.
All right, 2 things left. I lied. Any thoughts on a Polish Angel Cosmic Spritz on a ceramic coated car as a topper?
I hated it. Unless they changed the formula, I was all excited about that. It's like a $150 bottle of topper. So there's Cosmic Spritz, and then the other one was, I forget, there's 2 of them. But, Esoteric loves Cosmic Spritz. I hated it. It's just so smeary and hard to deal with. And maybe they changed the formulation, but I bought everything. I spent like $3,000 buying all the Polish Angel stuff. I was all gung-ho about it. Like, this stuff is going to be amazing. And I hated every single thing they made. Their one product that I never used that everybody else seemed to like was their master sealant. But with coatings, master sealant doesn't really make sense. But yeah, high gloss, that's the other one. Both of them were I thought were freaking god awful.
And then how about a black and gold or yellow JPS style bucket package? A midget says.
Yep, we got something that the tricky part is the colors available. We're stuck with what Gamma Seal colors are available. And they're such a big company, they won't even let us buy direct. Like they don't care. I got to buy from U.S. Plastics or Uline or something in bulk from them. So we're stuck with like certain green, and then the green won't match the green grit. You know, the only thing that matches, whites match, blacks match, the yellows match, but the orange matches, but it's like a salmon orange. The greens don't match, like the green buckets and the green gamma seals. The green, there's not a matching green bucket dolly and top, so we're kind of limited. And then there is a gold detail guards, but it's a different color of gold, so we're limited in what we can do. But there's some cool combinations we're gonna put together. I think you're gonna like.
All right, we'll end it with this brilliant insight from Brian Louderback here. It says, thanks for doing such a great job always reading the questions, Chris. You're welcome, Brian. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, good job, Chris. Yeah.
We all have our gifts.
Although I did it without you last week just fine.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys. Thanks for watching.
See you next week.
Thanks for listening. And we'll see you next week, hopefully from a more convenient location. Maybe we should go into our future podcast studio
Yeah, we could.
and set up a